Hello everyone, this is Junaid here from K21 Academy and I welcome you all to this interesting session where we're going to see how do we work with virtual environment. And we'll also see how and why do you have to install virtual environment on your system and some of the pros of using virtual environment. So without any further ado, let me quickly start off this session. But guys, before we begin, please do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated on trending technologies. And also, if you're looking for Python certification, please check out the link given in the description box below. So let us now start off by understanding what is a virtual environment, right? So in general, if you have to speak, what is a virtual environment? Like virtual environment is like, let's say, a setup, right? So environment basically means a setup, and it is there somewhere virtually, right? So somewhere it exists, but we can't see it. So that's what is virtual environment. So what is a virtual environment? If I have to give you a description more specific, let's say you have Python installed on your system, but you obviously won't be working on one project. Or let's say if you have worked on one project, after some time you'll obviously be working on another project, or you'll be moving on to some other domain or some other projects which use Python. So what happens over here is that you might have to uninstall or install some libraries or some frameworks. And sometimes what happens is when you're working with projects, it's important that you work with a very specific version of certain APIs or libraries. So this is where the problem comes, right? So you cannot be installing and uninstalling the libraries every time. So this is where you create a virtual environments. So you can say virtual environment as you have a big setup, and within that setup you can create n number of setup which is specific to your particular project or whatever use you're trying to do here. So this is what is virtual environment. One of the popular virtual environment that you can use is Anaconda. So Anaconda is a system, if you're aware of, it basically gives you Jupyter Notebook, Spider, and many other third-party applications which you can use to not just for simple Python experience, but you can also use them for machine learning, deep learning, on various other setups that you want. So let us now quickly see how you can set up a Python virtual environment, right? So make sure you guys have a strong internet connection and a good system with a good configuration. So ideally it is required that you have a 4 GB of RAM, but if you're working with machine learning and deep learning, then you might have to have minimum of 8 to 16 GB of RAM. So yeah, so let me now quickly show you how you can install this Anaconda on your system. For this, first off, go to your favorite web browser, and then the browser that I'm gonna use is gonna be Google. So let me quickly get that over here. Okay, so over here what I'm gonna do is, let's say we want to install Anaconda, right? So all you need to do is Anaconda, that's it, and then hit enter here. And then whatever is the first link, you just click on that. So all you need to do is click here, and then you can just go through some documentation, some of the models or libraries that comes free with Anaconda or pre-built with Anaconda. And then if you have to install it, you just have this button. So you just download it. It automatically sees which operating system you're using. So you be using Microsoft Windows or Mac OS or Linux, any version that you're using, it'll automatically get it done for you. And the best part about Anaconda is it's open source. It's free for anyone to use. Although you can buy it, but it's not necessary for people who are starting off, and also mostly people who are into education sector. So you can see some of its documentation here, and yeah. So if you see here, so Anaconda is by data scientist for the data scientist. So this is something which majority of time is used in when you're trying to work with machine learning, deep learning, as well as for with data science. So let's wait for this for some time. Depending upon your internet speed, it can take anywhere from 1 minute to 5-10 minutes. So we'll be back once we have downloaded this exe file. All right, guys. So as you can see here, we have successfully downloaded this file. So once you're done with this, all you need to do is just click on open when done. So give it a moment or two. So once you click on that, you would be presented with a setup like this. So all you need to do is hit next, agree the license. Like this over here depends upon if you have multiple users in your system. So you can just go with just me, or if you have multiple users, and if you want it to be installed in all, you can have this. Then anyways, it's next. This is the place where your Anaconda would be stored. Make sure you have a sufficient amount of space in you, and then you can add this to path so that it can be used anywhere. And then you hit install, and once you install this, the Anaconda gets installed on your system. As I've already installed this on my system, so I won't be bothering myself to install Anaconda. Okay, so what happens once you install Anaconda on your system, right? So this might be a question on your mind. So let me quickly show you what happens. Okay, so what happens is you can just search for Anaconda prompt here. So let me show you that. If I come down to my window and type Anaconda, so you tend to get Anaconda Navigator and then prompt. Anaconda prompt is something that you would use on a regular basis. So if I have to show you that, once you click on Anaconda prompt, you get something like this, which you can see over here. Okay, and let me zoom in a bit for you guys. So let me expand and zoom in. So this is basically like your PowerShell or your command window. So let me show you what's the difference here. So basically you can say conda if you want to see the various virtual environments that are available here. So it's quite easy for you to see. So for this, all you need to do is type conda list environments. All right, guys. So what happens over here is you're just getting this name, right? So there's another command for this. So for that, you have to type conda env, which stands for environment list. And then once you hit enter, it will give you the list of all the environments that are present here. So as you can see, we have base, demo, and TensorFlow. So as you can see, the one which is active, this is where we have the star symbol, and it's represented over here as well. So let's see how we can create our virtual environment. So for this, it's pretty simple. So all you need to do is type this command conda create hyphen name. You can also write it as n. So let's say K21 demo. Okay, and then we have to mention the Python version. So Python is equal to, let's say we want 3.5. If you remember in the earlier session where we have discussed how to install Python, we installed Python 3.10 if I'm not wrong, because that was the latest at that time. So let's try to install Python 3.5 and then you hit enter. Okay, so I've done a small typo where I've written C twice. Let me erase that and then hit enter. So this will take quite some time because it's trying to create a virtual environment here. So let's give it a moment or two. So it will prompt you to proceed here. These are the various packages that would be installed. So we say yes. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have successfully created our Conda environment. So let me clear the screen here. So for that, it's clear screen. So now what we'll do is we'll try to call or we'll try to activate our Conda environment. So but before that, let me see if our Conda environment is listed here, the one which we created, that is K21 demo. So now it should have this. Let me quickly get this up. So as you can see here, we have K21 demo here. So to use this, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is have conda activate K21 demo, and then you hit enter. So if I try to have this list now, you will see the sign or the star symbol here changes. And apart from that, now we are using K21 demo instead of base. So as you can see here, now we have conda environment. What it says is it's K21 demo. So this is the one which is active. Now it has changed from base to K21 demo. So this was a small introduction about how you can use Conda. Apart from that, Conda virtual environment, or if you try to Conda, uh, it gives you, apart from a command prompt, it also gives you something called as Anaconda Navigator. So as you can see here, Anaconda Navigator, this is pretty heavy tool. I would recommend you to have definitely a good amount of computer resources to run this. So this gives you something like Jupyter Notebook, which is typically used if you are trying to work with data science project. It has integration with PyCharm Professional, or that's one of the programming languages is used by statisticians. And the best of all is you have Spider and VS Code. So this is it about, how you can use Anaconda, how you can have a setup. So if you are someone who's interested in learning more about, Python virtual environment and how Python programming languages work, I would definitely recommend you guys to check out our course on Python programming. And also, if you want to have a brief overview about our programming, you guys should check out our free class on Python. And for that, it's going to be a link, which is going to be K21Academy.com/Python02. All right, guys, with this, we come to the end of a session. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. If you have any further queries, please do mention them in the comment box below. So guys, before I end this session, there's something that I want to give you guys, right? So before you purchase our course, we would like you to give a trial to our free class. So free class is basically a concise or demo version of our paid courses. I know the courses are pretty, it's something like, when you invest money over that, you might not be sure, right? Like whether this course belongs to you or not. So this is why we introduce something called as free class over here. So with this free class, what happens is you can register yourself and, attend a class for 2 days and see if this course is for you or not. So before I show you how you can register yourself for a free class, let me show you how our learning path of our course would be. So the course over here would be divided into 8 weeks. So in the first week, we would be, dealing with some of the basic concepts like, introduction to Python, objects, and, some basics of it. And then we straight away move down to looping statement. Then we have the oops concept that we deal in the next by third week. Once you come down to the fourth week, you'll be dealing with exception handling, how to deal with errors and various other concepts that go there. Week 5 and 6, you'll be dealing with, generators, and then how to use, like NumPy and Pandas, Matplotlib and Plotly. These are some of the libraries that you need when you're trying to start off with data science. Finally, in week 7, you will be introduced to big data. That is, how to use Apache for big data technologies. Finally, in the week 8, we'll be walking you through, how to build your CV, interview preparation, and all of that. I know 7 weeks is like, it's impossible to learn a programming language. But let me tell you something, guys. With our live course, you would be able to see this n number of times. And also, whatever you have achieved in your live class, we have, the recordings of that so that you can come back and watch it again and again. Apart from this course would be available for you throughout your lifetime so that, it's always there in your hand. So this is a bit about a learning path of a course. So as I've promised earlier that, I'm going to show you how you can register yourself for our Python for data science and data engineer. So let me do one thing. Let me quickly go to my browser. So here, let me open Google Chrome. So for this, what you got to do is you got to type k21academy.com/python02. So yep, so if I have this and if I hit enter, you will be presented with a screen something like this wherein it says free live class, and depending upon when you're booking it, so you'll have various classes. Usually we tend to have 3 sessions because we know we have people applying for different areas, like we have different time zones. So you can definitely register yourself here. So then make sure you come here. You will see one dialog box. Apart from that, you'll also see some of the the agenda for that class, like Python and its features, Python objects, and various other things. Over here you'll have some demo session, a free gift for those who are attending it, and a Q&A session with the trainer. So here you can just add up K21, like whatever your name is, and then you can add up like k21@gmail.com and make sure you give your phone number, but although that is optional, but yeah. And once you hit this, you can just hit register. You will be getting an email address which would have a link of your Zoom. But let's say if you don't want that, if we have this wherein once you hit register, you will get a Zoom link over here, which you can just join up with this at this particular time or whenever you want, and the agenda for this would be present over here. So you can join a Zoom link by this join the webinar. So this is what it is. So we also have a YouTube channel and a Telegram channel which you can join over here, and this would help you out with if you have any queries about questions or something, one of our trainers would get back to you on that. All right, guys, we come to the end of this session. Until next time, goodbye and take care.